Greetings YouTube, this is Ants Utah back again. Today we're going to talk about a topic that's on every beginner ant farmer's list of things they want to know. Where and when can I find ants? Specifically, for me this was in Utah. But before I get into that, I want to mention where I found all this information. There'll be links for the places in the description below. First, formaculture.com. This is a forum community for people interested in ants. They have a lot of information on how to take care of ants and when you may be able to find them. Next is antweb.com. This website is where I was able to find a list of ants that have been reported in Utah, and they have maps of the areas as well. Then there are a few pages I'd like to mention. One is Ant Keepers and Fans. This is a page that has a lot of people in it who love to talk about ants and ants related topics. Also, AntsCanada Facebook page by someone who's well known in the ant world. Both of these pages are good for help and information. Next is for those in Utah looking to find a local group also into keeping ants. Utah Ant Keepers. This is a small group, but if you're local to Utah and you need help or ideas where to find or what to do with your ants, they're always willing to help out. Now on to where can I find queens? Well, if you watch the intro video, I tease this in it. With the help of antweb.com, this is a map of the state of Utah with all the genres that have been found in it. There's also a color code for those genres. I tried to do this to help make it easier to know what was in the area, but it turned into a blob of color. Another thing to note of is the exclamation point next to two of the names. They stand as a symbol for the species out of the genre that have been recently introduced to Utah. The whole genre of Hypoponera, with two subspecies, was recently introduced to Utah. Now for a few things to think over when looking at maps where ants have been found. Number one, ants don't follow borders. Just because they were found and reported in a place does not mean you cannot find them somewhere else. But just because ants do not follow borders does not mean that we do not have to also. When hunting for ants, you need to know the local, state, and federal laws on transporting and catching live animals. In the United States, it is illegal to cross state lines with a live queen ant, both by mailing and simply driving it yourself. It is punishable by fines and up to a year in jail per offense, so don't do it. Number two, these dots are first reported locations. Use this loosely to try to help you think of areas near where you live that you may want to find ants. While there are a lot of dots on this map, there are some areas that have little to no information. Take the area around Ogden. That's a populated area. I'm pretty sure you can find ants there, but it doesn't have anything reported. The same is around Provo. So let's take a closer look at this map. Now I'm going to go over each area in this map. If you want more time, please pause the video to look it over. Here we have northwest Utah. As you can see, the majority of ants are around Logan, Salt Lake City, Sandy, and north of Provo. Again, the areas around Ogden have not been reported, so unfortunately, if you catch a queen in that area, it's anyone's guess to what you found. Northeast Utah, with Vernal, Price, Provo, and Park City, which is not shown on the map, here is where you'll find Formica and the forest areas. On to central Utah. Again, we see Price, Moab, among other areas where nests are clustered. Southern Utah, with cities like St. George, Springdale, Kanab, Bluff, and Cedar City, also the Grand Staircase and Bryce Canyon. As you can see, ants are all over the state. Now we come to, when can I find queens? On formaculture.com, I found a list of nuptial flight times for the southwest US. But first, there are a few things to consider. The weather. The weather plays a big role in nuptial flights and is different from southern Utah to northern. This year we've had a milder winter, meaning that ants may come out of hibernation sooner than normal. But don't forget that flights mostly happen after rainstorms. So if it's been real dry and no rain, you may not find a new queen walking around after flights. There are 29 genres in the state of Utah, with almost 200 reported subspecies. Remember, this is not Pokemon, you do not have to collect them all. One of the big things in Utah is private or public lands. Most of the lands in Utah are public parks, so you can freely walk on them and go look. But remember that animals in public parks are protected, so check to see if you can collect ants off of the public grounds. If you're looking for ants on private property, please ask first. Also, when looking for ants, please be respectful and mindful of the areas. Don't leave trash or move over big rocks while looking for ants. Never put more than one queen into the same container, even if you think the species may be polygyne. It's better to be safe when hunting for ants than find out later and risk all your hard work. Things you will need. These are more things to consider when hunting for queens. You're going to need something to hold the queens that you find. A lot of people tend to use whatever they can to hold queens as they find them. This is okay, but remember to try to make your newfound queen's trip home a comfortable one. Me, I plan on using test tube soda bottles or old film canisters. Do what you can to try to limit her stress, and try not to leave her in areas of direct sunlight or high heat. Have on a good pair of walking shoes. You may have to walk around a bit to find queens sometimes, traveling the same route 2 or 3 times, so do your feet a favor and have on good shoes. Next is good eyes. Anyone interested in ants know ants are small. Remember, most of the time you'll be looking down on the ground searching for queens. Remember to look up from time to time so you don't run into anyone. Or in some parts of the state of Utah, pull a wily coyote. Don't know who that is? I'm sure you can find videos on YouTube about him. Last is water. It's always good to have a water supply on hand. But remember, Utah is mostly desert and dry. And in the summertime, it's hot. Because of that, it's good to make sure you're hydrated, along with hats and sunscreen to keep from getting sunburned. On the plus side, when you empty your water bottle, it can be used to hold a queen. Just remember to try to get all the water out of the bottle before putting her in, so she won't drown. Now, what is Southwest US? As of the last US Census, the Southwest was changed to only include Arizona and New Mexico, but can sometimes and still does include California, Nevada, Colorado, and Utah. Texas and Oklahoma are no longer considered part of the Southwest. That being said, these are the nuptial flights for Southwest US, as reported on formerculture.com. It also shows how many queens were caught during each month. The more caught, the higher the number. The higher the number, the more likely it will be that you will find a queen also during that month. You will see some of the names on the flight list, but not on the side list of Utah names. That means, so far, none of those have been found in Utah. My recommendation would be to use both Formiculture and AntWeb to help you know where and when to find queen ants. I'm going to let you read these and come back after. Thanks again to formalculture.com for having this list. Now that you know when and where to find queen ants, good luck and happy hunting. This is Ants Utah reminding you that ants work wonders.